Well, good afternoon, everybody. So I wanted to kind of do another update on the Anker SOLIX E10 system and kind of share how even a smaller system can still help offset some costs on your normal electric bill. So let's take a look together. So if you're not familiar with this is about a 7,000 watt inverter system with a 6,000 watt hour battery. Just the one, and it's tied into this smart inlet box, which then allows the system to be able to offset the power usage in this electrical panel. But because I only have the one battery right now, depending on loads in the house, that battery can get used up pretty quick. Because we've got loads like dryer, electric, range, and oven. You know, those things, you run those once or twice a day, and that could easily take up all the battery power that you have. But that's kind of the point, right? You want it to utilize that power to offset some of those loads. So the power in this battery could offset the entire runtime of the dryer because it's cycling on and off. So you wouldn't have to pay for that load of clothes that you just had to dry. Or for dinner, it could offset the usage on that oven running to bake the turkey or whatever you're making for dinner. So even the small one battery system can still help. And so let's jump into the app and we're going to look at some of the numbers in usage and savings from just having this one battery connected. So we'll open up the Anker app. And because I'm using the smart inlet box, we're going to come to this home page. And even right now, it's actually showing a great picture of how even a small system can help offset your loads, because if you look in the bottom right, my home load right now is 870 watts. But because it's bright and sunny outside today and I have solar connected into this, I've got 3.5 kilowatts of solar coming in. It's offsetting that 850 watt load and still putting 2.6 kilowatts into the battery. Because this is a hybrid system, it allows the blending of that solar to be used to offset that grid power before it goes into the battery. Some systems, depending on how they're configured, could take all the solar and dump it into the battery first, and then it has to pull from the battery to go to the load. But this allows solar to be used first for the loads, and then any extra to go into the battery. And if you've got permission to sell back to the grid, then once your battery gets topped up to 100%, it can go back to the grid. But I don't have any of that configured. So I've got two strings configured, and I believe this has the ability to have 9,000 watts of PV coming into it. I think it's 4,500 watts per separate MPPT tracker. So you can see how I have mine coming in right now. And then if I look at the device, it says that it's charging with 2.71 kilowatts, and we're at 68%. And that's all because I'm in self-consumption mode. So I did end up losing a lot of my data because I had to switch from a beta version of this app to a production version of the app so that I could continue to get proper updates. So if I look back at the yearly data, you can see that I don't have anything before March, when in one of my previous videos it was showing stuff from January and February. But I lost all that because I had to update to the current live version of the app. But even today, on my production from solar, I've produced about 6 kilowatt hours of solar. If we look at my home usage, I'm currently at 14.86 kilowatt hours. And we have put, let's scroll down to the bottom, 2.67 kilowatt hours into the battery. And I actually haven't had to discharge anything from the battery yet today. And part of that was because this morning it was down to 20%. And 20% is my current reserved power setting. So it allows 80% of the battery to be used and saves that 20%. So if the grid does go out, I still do have that little bit of extra power just in case. From the grid, you can see it did end up using 11.53 kilowatts because it was down to 20%. But then once the sun came out, it starts zeroing out all that potential grid usage. So the PV is helping, again, offset that grid usage. So we can see that 3.3 kilowatt hours from solar have gone to the loads today, and 2.67 have gone directly into the batteries to be able to be used tonight. I did program into the settings area my utility rate. Right now it's a fixed rate. As we get closer to summertime, they do have more time of use rates, which I'll end up programming in later, but right now I'm about 15 cents a kilowatt hour. And so that's where this earnings comes in at $20.35. And so since I reset this system on the new app, it's produced 141 kilowatt hours of solar, saving me about $20. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I have been unplugging solar different days, and in Michigan, it's been a wet and rainy spring, so I haven't really had a whole lot of solar to help produce extra power yet, but any savings is better than nothing, right? Because you know, just like I do, those electric rates are continuing to go higher and higher. In Michigan, we just had approval for yet another price hike from our utility company. And so we're looking at, I believe, a 15% increase in our rates come May 1st. And they already put in for another increase. So those rates are just going higher and higher and higher. So even a small system like this can still help chip away at that utility bill. So if we look at kind of like a weekly usage, we can see the past couple of days, 6 kilowatts of production from solar, 3 kilowatts on Wednesday, which Wednesday was a nasty stormy day. Tuesday, 5.23, Monday, 6.29. And we can go back several weeks, and you can see even Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the prior week, it's really nasty outside. If we look at home usage, let me go back to the current week, we can see, and again, this system is tied to a panel that doesn't have everything in my home connected to it all the time, which is where you can see only 8.2 kilowatts used, 7.3, but that's going to be some of my large loads in the home. Dryer, oven, those are going to always be used. And so I'm able to help whack away at some of that cost. You can see, here we go, 17 kilowatt hours, 6, 18. If we switch over to the battery and to see charging versus discharging, whatever's below that baseline, that's going to be what was charged, and then the darker blue, what's above, is what was discharged. And if you want an easier view, you can scroll down to the bottom and just switch between this charge and discharge toggle. So for the week so far, from solar, we have charged 76% and charged from the grid 23.63%. And that charging from the grid is actually because of storm mode, which I'll get into in another video just because I've got a few examples that I just kind of think are really cool. But I'll get into that later. We can look at it from a monthly standpoint for each of these options. So generated power for the month, 64 kilowatt hours. Home usage, 237. Energy storage, 33.26. And then power from the grid. And you see that I mentioned earlier, selling back to the grid. I don't have any of that configured. I don't have anything set up with my utility company, so I'm not exporting anything at all. You can see everything in here is import only. 11.9 straight into the batteries, and then 165 going straight to my loads. And then here's just another example. I'm not exporting anything. And we can even look at it from the year standpoint. So 463 for the year from the grid. Energy storage, so we stored 55 kilowatt hours. The home has used 598 kilowatt hours, and I have generated 141 kilowatt hours from solar. So even a single battery system like this can still help offset my loads, zero it out, and I think this picture that we're seeing right now is just a perfect example of it. If you've got solar connected to it, you can offset your home loads and still charge your battery and be able to utilize that battery when the sun goes down, just to chip away a little bit at a time for some extra savings. This system isn't the cheapest system out there, but it just works. You set it, forget it, and you can watch that electric bill just slowly drop. And then over time, you could grow the system more. You could add another battery. You could add a complete second inverter stack if you needed more power, more for trying to be 100% off-grid. But offsetting always helps. You got to start somewhere, right? So hopefully that helps. Just wanted to take a minute and share that with you guys. If you want to take a look more at this system, I'll leave links down in the description below. I will have a link to a playlist of previous Anker SOLIX E10 videos. But electric usage is only getting more expensive, folks. So maybe it's time to take a look at taking back some of that money that you're forking over to the electric company and using it to make your own power. So with that, I'm going to let y'all go. Y'all stay safe, stay warm, and we'll catch up with you later.